Hey guys, welcome back again to Rebuild Reality. So today we are talking about time, the illusion of time, past and the future, time crunches and all of that stuff. So let's jump right into it, shall we? So I know that probably everybody has heard that time is an illusion, and yeah, that's true. It's been proven scientifically for a very long time. But of course, our senses don't agree with that assessment, and that's why people keep going along with their lives, same as always. But we think that we are being born, that we're growing up, that we're going through all these life experiences, we're getting old, and then we're dying, and none of that is actually true whatsoever. Now, the reason we have this perception of time here in this 3D experience is it so we can do exactly that, have experiences, because otherwise, as all that is, as everything, which is your true identity, you are the life force, you are what gave rise, what created all form, and you are that life force, energy, or however you want to describe it, that animates everything, that brings everything to life, that created everything. That's who you really are, which is consciousness. So, as all that is, you're just everything all at the same time. There is no time. You don't experience time, you just are all that is. So the only way to have experiences of different pieces of yourself was to create this illusion and create the illusion along with it of time, the illusion of senses to interact with this realm. And so you could individually, singularly, have certain experiences. So let's say, for example, if you met somebody and then you started dating, and then you got engaged, then you got married, then you bought a house, then you had kids, and then you had all these other experiences throughout your life, well, it'd all be one thing. You wouldn't have those separate experiences of becoming, of the excitement of, getting into a new relationship, and the excitement of love blooming, and the togetherness of the two of you, and your life together, and your experiences together, and all of that. So you wouldn't have that. You could be love, you wouldn't have the experience of that love. The same with, let's say, aging. You wouldn't experience growing up. You wouldn't experience what it's like to be 2 years old, and what it's like to be 16, and then 27, and 35, and 58, and 79, and whatever. You wouldn't have those individual experiences. So think of it like they're like little movies, and you're taking a little piece of yourself and you are watching that movie. One little experience, one little expression of you kind of living out its unfolding, right? So, and then you're going to put that one back on the shelf, and you're going to take out another one. But instead of waiting till you die to do it, we're going to be able to do it here, because this is what we're discovering. Oh, wait. Okay. Time is an illusion. And because time is an illusion, the reason time is an illusion is because there's no space. So time would be if you needed to get from point A to point B. And there is no space. So that's why there's no time. And because there is no time and no space, there is no separation, which is why everything is here now. We think of time as this kind of, like I'm going from here to there. It's like going down a river of my life. I can't see what's around the next bend, and all of that stuff. But time isn't like that. If anything, time would be vertical. But things are separated by our awareness of them. So what are you aware of? Because what are we? We are consciousness. At its core, we are consciousness that is aware of itself, consciousness. And then, Oh, look at that. That is aware, right? So it is that ability to be aware, which means we can steer. So when we don't want that version of our life, we want that version of our life, or that version of ourselves, or that version of ourselves and that version of our lives. What are we going to do? We need to move our awareness away from the version we don't want and over to the version we do want. And people tell me like all the time, that we've been talking, I've been having sessions, and people will call me and they'll be like, well, I still don't have what I want. It's still not happening yet. And I'm like, oh, why is that? And they're like, well, I don't know. It's not working. I'm still not the person I want to be. I'm like, well, when we spoke before, you said that you were that version of yourself. Oh, well, yeah, I want to be that version of myself. I'm really trying to be that version of myself, but I'm not that version of myself yet. Well, right there is the problem, because you're saying to yourself and whoever else that you are not that person. So you've gone back to agreeing that you're still that person instead of that person, because as awareness, like I said, instead of looking at that one and agreeing with that story, you are now in this story. And of course, that story is going to keep coming up. It's going to keep tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, I'm still here. You're still this person. Well, no, I am not that person. Here, in this experience, because we have the experience of time, there is usually an experience between the two of them where it's like, are you sure? You are absolutely sure. I cannot convince you, because I'm going to really try and convince you that you are still this person. And you're going to be like, all I see is this. All I see is this. Because as awareness, that's how you move from one reality to another. So we're understanding these things of how it works. So when someone says that they are trying to manifest something and they're trying to get it by Thanksgiving, or they're trying to get it by, by Christmas or whatever, right? Well, they're already saying it's not going to happen. Why is that? Because if you are saying, I need this by this illusionary time frame, then you're already saying also, I don't have it, and I need it by this time, because why? I don't have it. So you're already kind of out of the starting gate in the wrong spot, because you're already agreeing that you don't have it, that you're still the person that doesn't have it, is still the person that's trying to get it, is hoping to get it, wants to get it by this time. But there is no time. There is no later. There is no later on. There's just now. And it appears that there is that unfolding, but if you really think about it, and I've spoken about this before, if you look at your day, you look back at your day or yesterday, you'll have like little snapshots, little pictures of like, oh, I remember what I had for breakfast, and then I remember when I got to work, and I remember my lunch and this thing that happened at work. And then when I got home, I took the dog for a walk. You'll have like little snapshots. You won't have a whole continuous memory of everything that happened, because all those things didn't happen. They're just little snapshots right here, right now. That's what is happening. So when people try to live in two places at the same time, it doesn't work. That's why you can't go back. That's why a lot of people say, you got to be all in. You got to be all into this. You got to go all the way, because you can't exist in two realities at the same time. You can't have two identities at the same time. Like the saying goes, you can't serve two masters at the same time. You have to choose. Are you this person or are you that person? Full stop. Now, when you change to a new version of you, you're also going to be changing your past. You will literally be remembering a different past than you had before. So it changes the whole thing when you change who you are right now. And the fact is, we're changing in every second. It's just that we keep that same story going, so we don't perceive that, right? But if you're really up to speed with this, you could literally be a new person in every moment if you are that up to speed with all of this stuff, with how fast you are changing. So that's why it's possible to change anything we want. So if your 3D isn't reflecting back to you who you say you are, you can't let it phase you anymore. You got to use it to your advantage. Be like, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I am who I say I am. I have what I say that I have. And that's it. That's the end of it. And nothing can change that. That's where you want to be. That's where you need to be. Be like, that's it. You know, have you ever gotten to a point in your life where you're like, that's it. That is it. You just crossed my line in the sand. And it's just like that big putting on the brakes. I am not going one step further. I am not doing that anymore. It's that same kind of thing where you're like, I get what I want. I get what I want. I'm not going to be tossed around like a little boat in the ocean anymore. I'm not going to be yanked around on a chain, you know, by life choosing for me because I think that I got no control. I'm going to do it now. So yeah, it takes kind of, you know, standing up. Well, what do you know? I mean, life isn't trying to purposely stomp on you. It's just that we get into these identities where we start believing that things have control over us that don't. So that's what's so exciting about all of this is that, well, okay, so I can focus away from what I don't want, focus on what I do want. And that, in that power, is the power that creates worlds, is the power that says, move mountain, and that mountain is gonna move. That's what this is all about, that when you finally get this, that you can have what you believe in. That's like the whole story of like Daniel in the lion's den. It's like, nope, lions aren't gonna eat me. You know, nope, that's not gonna happen. You know, I know that there's a higher power, that there's a bigger part of me that's gonna take care of that. And that's what like those stories are for. They're to like show us that, to show us these things. So, you know, we really want to just finally sit with, okay, there's no time. Okay, I'm just going to accept it, because your mind is going to be like, yeah, there is. So we have to accept that our 3D mind is just not really going to probably, it belongs in that world, right? It doesn't know what the rest of us knows. Otherwise, if it knew anything, like I always say, it would know who you are, where you came from, what you're doing here, how this all works. It doesn't know those things. That's why we're going beyond it. And people want to satisfy their mind. And it's like, you can't wait. You can't wait for that, because chances are your mind is never going to be satisfied, because it doesn't know what you're talking about. It doesn't know about like your intuition. It doesn't know anything beyond this world. So we can't try to keep satisfying it. We just have to make that leap where we're like, okay, all right, I'm going to go for this. And the mind's like, no, you'll get hurt again. It's like, well, you got to get past that, because otherwise you're never going to find out for yourself. And that's what you need to do. You need to find out for yourself that what it is that you can do, that you can have what you want. So this is why when we're doing this whole thing, we're in time here, but we're manifesting what we want. The best thing to do really is to move yourself out of time, because what happens is we become so aware of time, and we have no idea how powerful we are, that by becoming aware as awareness, as conscious awareness, by becoming aware of this time and making it important, all you're doing is you're making it bigger and bigger. The more you look at it, it's like adding fuel to a fire. You are making that thing grow. That's why you got to be like, oh, I got to unplug from that thing. I got to unplug from my previous version of myself, from the previous version of my life, from the previous version of the freaking world. I got to unplug myself. Now, I'm not going to look at that anymore because I know the more that I look at it, the bigger it grows, the bigger it gets, especially for me. And I'm going to go this way. I'm like, no, because that world, as Neville says, whatever you stop paying attention to will wither and die. Because it is your attention, your focus, that is literally, as awareness, as consciousness, that is giving it life. And if you stop giving it life, it's going to die. It's just going to go away. It's not going to be able to exist anymore. So, pulling your awareness out of that, putting it into where you want. And when we're in this thing of there's time, and I got a time crunch here, and too much time has gone. I've been waiting for this thing for months and months and months. I've been waiting it for a year, for 3 years, for 5 years, or whatever it is that you've been waiting for. Well, let's stop time. Let's step out of the 3D. And we can do that right here and right now by going back to the true reality. No more time, no more space, no more separation. Right here, right now, in the I am. I am that I am. And I'm coming and I'm putting my focus here, my awareness here, so that this becomes my current reality. This becomes a place where I am dwelling now. And here, as I am, as all that is, time stops. You collapse time and space. And I've seen this, when I was doing hypnosis, like the QHHT, which I actually still do sometimes, and like people still know me and stuff and still come back. And when people go into this hypnosis, what is that? It's just being in a deep meditative state. It's just that people don't stay there. If you stay there, I'll have people in hypnosis. Typically, it's like it's about a 2.5 hour thing, And so they'll be in that part of it where we're having this conversation and stuff, and they are going in. They're going within. They're going within into that place. And when they come out, they are completely disoriented. And the first thing I'll ask them is, how long do you think that was? And they'll be like, 15 minutes? And I'm like, try 3 hours. Because they just stepped out of time and space. And that's why, be here now. Be here now. In the I am. And you pull yourself out of all of this. You pull yourself out of the story of time and space and all of these things. And you pull yourself into the story of the true you, the true reality that exists always right here and now. You're just playing this role or that role or that role or that role. But we always want to go back to I am. The power is here. Power of creation. This is where that beam of your consciousness, your awareness is coming from. So, because when we're kind of all over the place, we actually shut that off. The more that we are still and know that I am, that's why there is that saying, be still and know that I am God. Because that's the access point, is right there. When you actually stop going all over the place, trying to do things and get things done, here in this place, from here, you can see everything. From here, you can get all the information. From here, you reverse the flow. Instead of you pushing out, you're stopping and letting everything come to you. So be still and know that I am. Stop time. Collapse time and space for yourself. And then move your awareness into where you want it to go, into the experience of yourself that you want to have. And that's why in The Wizard of Oz, there is, at the end, they tell Dorothy, close your eyes, click your heels, which are optional, but close your eyes, go within. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Go back to your center point. Go back to your 0 point. Because the truth is, you're already home and you've never left. You've never left the state of all that is. You will always be that. That is always a part of who you are. So when you have these things happen, where you're like, I'm experiencing all these times and all this stuff, and even if you've passed your deadline, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Stay where you need to be. Stay as the person you've chosen to be. And don't look back. And amazing, incredible things begin to happen when you're not willing to let anybody or anything tell you who you are anymore, including time. So I hope that helps you guys out. Thank you guys for being with me here once again on Rebuild Reality. I know that I haven't been able to be here as much as I've wanted to lately. Hoping to change that really soon. And because I'm just like so much, I want to do more videos and stuff. So I'm sure that will be changing because I wanted to. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your beautiful comments. You know, you guys always say such wonderful, lovely, beautiful things. So thank you so much for that. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and all of that. And as always, I look forward to seeing you here next time on Rebuild Reality.